guys, it's Brit here with Green Bee Flowers. Now we're somewhere in the middle of May and I'm just out checking the farm here as it looks like the peony patch is coming on strong. So this week, now it is the day right after Mother's Day. So while I'm filming this, we're also working on editing. But it looks like this week I'm going to be coming through and disbudding the side shoots off of the peonies because we are looking, I don't know if I can properly express just how incredible the peony patch looks. Like, there are anywhere between like 6 to 12 buds on most of these plants. They are, for the most part, year 3 and year 4 plants now, which means this is the year we hopefully get like the harvest, right? So that is on the list of things that we are doing this week. We're also pulling the remnants of like the miscellaneous tulip bulbs out of here. And I have to say, as far as tulips go this year, we had a phenomenal tulip year. I think that this was one of the best years we have had for tulips since we started. Our rate of not harvest, you can see there's like very few patches in here that weren't harvested or bloomed out before we could get to them. And I think overall we probably lost less than 10% of the bulbs, which is, from what I'm gathering in the flower farming Facebook groups I'm a part of, is an extremely good statistic, because I'm hearing from a lot of frustrated growers that due to climate and weather, they had a really, really frustrating spring for tulips. So I am so grateful. I don't necessarily think that that's necessarily specific to varieties we ordered. I actually account it to the fact that when we got our tulips in the ground here, they went in kind of the last week of October for us in zone 6A, 6B, kind of on the cusp there. And they were planted really, really deep and then mounded. So for us, we had really long, wonderful stems. And then because April was so cold still and so gray, we had an incredible just lack of sunshine. So there wasn't a lot forcing these tulips up, right? The cooler also went on and stayed on this year, and I ordered less tulips this year than I had in years past. And so it was really wonderful to have just a good tulip year. Even for the daffodils, there are still, over yonder, you can see blooms still on that section, just because the daffodils were so prolific this year that we didn't have to harvest all of them, and we put them in everything. So those were definitely wins for us this spring. Now we are also starting to see growth. So my rudbeckias are starting to come back here. We're seeing alliums over off on the side there putting on growth. And it's just, after such a cold April and March, it feels really good to see the farm coming back to life. I'm looking out as well. We'll go for a little putz past the Delnishok daffodils, which are always a fan favorite. But on this side here, the feverfew is all starting to come up. We're going to have to net that. We've got our delphinium, which is putting up good growth. We've also got nyctilled, so I'm just kind of traipsing through fresh dirt here. Thistle has really put a lot of growth there. And then all of our baby lupin plants, right? These rows are just looking so fabulous. So I'm thrilled. Honestly, it's been such a long haul. This week and next week, we're going to be getting out and planting most of the farm. So that's really next on the docket. And yeah, I feel really grateful this year. It's nice to finally have a spring where, I think it's any farmer's overwhelmed, but we sort of feel like we've got our heads, I think, screwed back on. It's been a long haul, and it's just, last year was the first year we'd had the whole farm out here at the old drive plot. So yeah, there's just lots to do, as there always is. Oh, but I was going to take you around. So as we continue the walk yonder around the farm, and I'm going to take the path here because I don't want to walk through all the freshly tilled dirt. But we already have the Snapdragons and the lisianthus planted in the ground as well. Nona, Auntie, and Jasmine have put those in the ground already. Ashley and I did most of the Mother's Day prep, so it's really been helpful to have, you know, staff and some volunteer family members who were able to get things going. But you know, stuff is, it's looking really good. We are gonna be putting the sunflowers back on this side here, so behind. We pulled out the smoke bush that never quite seeded. But these rows here are planted all with the lisianthus. So I have 4 and a half rows of lisianthus this year, which works out to about, I think 1,200 seedlings, which is a lot. And then Snapdragons have all gone in right here. So next up, we are going to be working on getting the rows here. So this last year is where we had like the amaranth and the cosmos planted. We're actually going to be pushing up this whole first row right beside the greenhouse and moving it over. And the next thing we're going to be working on getting in is the asters, the celosia, and the zinnias this week. And then we will work after that on going through the greenhouse and digging out this year's ranunculus corms, because I think what I want to do is just spend some time getting that area mulched really well and the soil replenished in there. So that'll require a bit of work. And then on this side here, all this tilled area that's in here, this will be the dahlia field again. So here we are, it's middle of May, and it's spring. Okay, so these in here, we overwintered Snapdragons. Now, a couple notes. While I think it was a great idea, we did learn a whole lot. The first thing we learned is that we have flea beetles in here like nothing's nobody's business, and so we're trying to come up with a game plan to deal with those. However, the bonus side is that the stalks the stalks on these are incredibly long. Like, they are up to my waist right now. This was the Costa series that we had planted in here last spring. We kind of let these just go dormant through the summer. They started to put on fresh growth. And then we filled in the spaces with some fresh Snapdragons here in the spring. But this is like, there are hundreds of stems in this tiny little patch. And this is gonna go a long way next week to help with bud vases that we have to do for a wedding and some bridal bouquets. It's just really nice to see things that we have grown last year give us a whole second year worth of bloom. So 10 out of 10 would absolutely recommend. The flea beetle situation is a little new to us, so we are going to be working with our horticultural rep to figure out kind of how to deal with that. But loving this. So this is because I don't have the drip hooked up to the water yet. So we're making it rain from above. It's fine, everything's fine. Everything's fine. So why are we pulling this up in the rain? Well, I mean, the answer is really, truly, why not? The honest answer is because this landscape fabric that is right here is crappy Amazon landscape fabric that we needed in a pinch last year because Dubois was sold out. Now, I will say this, if you are Canadian and you're ordering landscape fabric, Dubois Egg is the only one you should be getting it from. The Amazon stuff is fine. Like, if you're a home gardener and you're just looking to put some stuff down in your garden and cover it with mulch, like, you do you boo. However, we are pulling it out because we're going to be laying a 12-foot deep line of landscape fabric here and putting drip underneath right away so that we can have a little bit more of a walkway between greenhouse 1 and this patch, which is probably realistically going to be Cosmos again. And then our dahlias are going to start in this kind of section here that's already tilled, are going to start like right over. And it's like miserable weather today, but 'tis farming. You must keep on keeping on. So that's the plan right now. Not.
Why not? They're so pretty. They'll make a nice bouquet. Such a nice bright yellow.
They were so cute when I was 4. Well, it's still dribbling. And I've popped out here because I'm working on disbudding yonder peonies. So if you haven't disbudded peonies before, it's just the process of taking off all of those little side buds, which as a flower farmer you need to do because we want the plant to put all the energy into the big bud. I have about 1,200 peonies to go through, so I'm gonna get started on this. It's gonna take me a little bit of time. I'm absolutely gobsmacked by how beautiful these Snapdragons are. So I want to get these into bouquets with some of our leftover tulips for market this weekend. So I'm going to go ahead and pick through these. We've definitely given them a chance to fully bloom. After having Snapdragons in the store for, you know, several years and purchasing them wholesale, I think that we really love the greenhouse grown second year snaps. They are full, they are lush, and realistically, I know it can be very, as a flower farmer, sometimes we want to come in and pick those Snapdragons right here, right? And realistically, what I want to do is actually wait until more of the flower blooms out, because Snapdragons do not and will not continue to open, you know, as they go up. So you want to give them like the biggest, tallest blooms you possibly can and really let those flowers fill out, but get to them before those bottom florets start dying back, because once that happens, the stem is kind of like past its prime and it's trying to produce seeds. So these are perfect. These are perfect. I've been like waiting on these for like 3 days. So I'm gonna go through, we're gonna grab them. Like actual perfection. So pretty. best smell. I smell like bubble gum. So this is the Costa Silver or the Bridal Pink. I think it's the Costa Silver series from Johnny's. These are hands down one of my favorite Snapdragons that exists. I'm a big fan of anything in the Costa and the Potomac series. I just think that they have such strong stems. They produce such tall flowers and they hold up really well in storage and bouquets. And I'm in love with these. I think they're stunning. You'll also notice that when I'm cutting, I'm cutting really deep, like into the plant, right? Like I'm going right down. The reason for that is because these Snapdragons will still put up another succession, like within the next 4 weeks. So like cutting nice and low, we'll be able to come in, water, and actually probably shade them. And we will have another succession of these like mid-June. It's middle of May right now. Ideally, I would like to keep these going while the outside ones are starting to grow up. And so when I'm planting my Snapdragons, I'm really thinking about, you know, how I want them to grow and be able to harvest through the summer. The Snapdragons are by no stretch of the imagination a one and done. If you're pinching your Snapdragons, I actually recommend pinching only about half of them so that you can get some of those earlier, like tall center stems. And then the ones that you do pinch will give you, you know, 5 to 7, 6-ish flower stem stalks coming up from the base, and they'll keep going, right? So it's not uncommon to get anywhere between like 2 to 4 successions of Snapdragons off the same plant through the summer. So that's something you really need to think about when you are harvesting these. But we are going to finish this off camera, and then I'm going to take you guys along tomorrow when we make all of the bouquets with our beautiful Snapdragons and the last of our deep double purple tulips that are going to be going to the market tomorrow night. I also managed to get a couple stems of Orlea. So there's about 5 or 6 here. They're going to hydrate in the cooler, and we're going to use these for one of our recipes for flowers tomorrow. All right, so it's market day, and to clarify, it is a night market. So we have made 0 things as of right now. I wanted to leave the Snapdragons in the cooler to hydrate overnight, and now it is about 10:30. The market opens at 4, I think, and we're gonna get started on making a whole bunch of really beautiful flowers for outside today. market recap. I left and went home because I had been at the store since like 8:30 in the morning. Jasmine and Malcolm actually worked the night market, and we were almost a near sellout. On my terms, this would be a sellout. We had 4 bouquets left and 4 mason jars left. They sold an incredible amount of the potted plants and some of the giftware, so I was really pleased about that. The biggest thing that was very exciting for us is that this year, I think more so than any other year, we are really focusing on getting our own blooms. I did a lot of planning, you know, in January and February with spring flowers and wanting to make sure that we had successions of things to be able to put in our bouquets. And so I was really pleased that that worked. Those Snapdragons were gorgeous. People just snapped those bouquets up, and I'm very thrilled. We had some great feedback from customers who have said that our flowers are some of the longest lasting that they have been gifted, and that is great. So new week, new video coming out again in about a week, and thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, leave a comment if you have any questions, and of course we will see you in the next video, guys. Bye-bye.